And as far as like writing goes, you're a great writer, obviously.
I appreciate
Like those lyrics are, awesome. So, I mean, so you've probably been writing since maybe like when you were back in middle school or something, maybe?
I was like 11 or 12 when I started writing. But it wasn't until I was like 19, 20 that I started like getting out here and performing. The writing process itself, like I don't write nothing down unless like I feel it like very profoundly. It has to be like something that's not like forced. And there's something that I have, like there's song bars and then there's arsenal bars. Like the arsenal bars being like, oh, yo, you rap? Oh yeah, me too. Oh, let me hear something. Okay, bet. And you just rap, Arsenal bars, just 16s you got in the pocket, just from writing, you know what I mean? And then
what's 16 lines?
Like 16 bars, like
bars.
Like a 16 is just like a verse that you would put like in like a traditional song. But with the song bars, like that has to come from a place that's really raw and pure and just not forced whatsoever, like, and sometimes that takes a long time. Like the song that I have on my album, Yerp, that took me like 3 months to write.
Really?
Yeah, like 3 whole months, because it's like storytelling is, what some would describe as like pretty cliche nowadays, but I still like to do it in my songs. But I wanted to do it in a way that was unique and just different for the times. So with that, it took just a long time to come up with the plot and how I was going to word things and what punchlines to use and this, that, and the third. And, I have songs I've written in like a few days, and songs like that
what is it that inspired your well, also like if you could just say what it's about, so like the listeners
so Europe is like essentially just a song about a day that you have where you can just go from house to house, like just smoking with your homies, you know what I mean? Like it's a smoker song. Gotcha. But it's not, because there are just those days, depending on what, walk of life you're from or what period of time you're in, where you just kick it with the homies over here for a little bit, and then you just go over there for a little bit, and then you go back home, and you might go out again. Just a regular day, but told through the lens of like the plug, or like, just a stoner or whatever,
Gotcha.
Just something fun, something catchy, something you can dance to, something that's like, that just makes you reminisce.
Yeah, it's like upbeat. It's like upbeat. It's fun. Yeah, I feel that when I listen to it.
Not a whole lot to it other than that. Just like, remembering times and groups of friends that I had back in the day growing up, just going over to their house to smoke, or them coming over to my house to smoke, just
what's a line that sticks out to you in Europe, like when maybe because people not listening don't know Europe,
like a favorite line in there,
or something that sticks to you the most out of all that. He's like, I gotta go through it now.
Yeah, I gotta like start.
My bad. Like, sorry, I put you on the spot.
It's like man, that is tough, because it's just
there's a lot of good stuff in it.
There's like mad bars, and they're all like super fast, and
I like that. I like the part. I like the section where your girl calls you.
Yeah.
That section was kind of cool.
That one, like, a lot of people just get thrown for a loop for it, because they think it's just like, oh, okay, it's just some girl, like, trying to smoke and chill with them. But it's like, nah, like, I'm hungry, let's go eat. But you just spent the whole day kicking it with the homies or whatever. You don't really feel like it, but you're going to, because that's your girl. You got to. That's everybody has that moment, that period of time in their life, that sweetheart or whatever. Back when you out and about on the street. Not so much for me anymore, just because focusing on other things,
Mhm.
focusing on music.
No sweetheart right now.
Oh no, like I have a girlfriend, but like it's less of just me just being out and about,
Gotcha.
just not doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like if I'm not with her, like I'm at work. If I'm
Yeah.
not at work or with her, like I'm out at an event somewhere.
And how did you meet her?
Doing shuffle actually.
Wow.
Hosting a remix. It was real cool. She was with the homie and they just got done performing, and I just walked over there, was telling them how they did, and then like they introduced me to her, and we just hit it off. It was dope.
She's a singer, is she?
No, she paints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She paints, and she does poetry but doesn't like perform it or anything like that. But
She's a creative.
yes,
Mhm.
that's cool to have. That's cool to
That is.
be with.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I really respect about you too is and that's why it almost broke my heart. It's like no sweetheart, but like I realized that about him. It's like he's not one of those like rappers or hip hop artists that's like a playboy. Like he's like he's like grounded. He has a woman, and he respects her. He loves her from from what I see.
Yeah,
what you
most
talk about.
definitely.
And even in your like lyrics, man, like you speak about like love, and you speak. One of the songs you talked about was maybe it was Baby Kenny, but where like basically one of them was where you had your heart broken, and you're like not gonna let that happen again in a way.
Yeah, it was you might be talking about either Hurt or Dear Death or something like
Yeah,
that.
it might have been Hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, Hurt just describes like a period of time where I was like going through like some heartbreak, and it's not really about the situation itself, but just the feelings like inspired by it, you know what I mean? And I wanted to write something that people could relate to. So like none of my songs on the album are about any like one specific person, but just like things that like people go through,
Yeah.
And of course, some things are inspired by real life events, as most products are, but it's neither here nor there.
We were listening the other one that I really liked. Well, I mean, I like every song, but like, it's hard to pick like a favorite. But I dig it.
I dig
It's
it.
really dope. Like it's like she was saying that it kind of reminded her the other day. My grandfather, he's in the hospital right now, but he's doing a lot better. But while he was there, he started telling us the story of how my grandmother passed a few years ago, but he started telling us the story of how he started to pursue another woman from church, and the woman that he's with right now, he's married to. He's saying, one night he told her, he's like, I'm coming for you. I was like, man. So she was like, man, that song kind of reminds me of your grandpa. Like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah,
like, she's like, I'm gonna dig into your
like,
brain and your mind. Because that's kind of what you're saying, right? Like, I want to dig into your
It's
mind.
just like it's one of those like I'm wearing you down type of songs.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
those,
Pursuing.
But that's just like my feelings have like, of course, evolved from like that age or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, look, I'm not gonna do all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel you. But I think it's actually cool though that you were focused on the mind. Like I'm gonna wear you down. I'm gonna attack your mind. Like I'm coming for you in that way.
yeah.
And you said something about her most beautiful parts were within her.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
That's real good. Yeah. And 1882. That's another good track.
Yeah, 1882 really just describes my relationship with weed, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because it's like
No, I get that.
it's like it's like I don't.
Well, 1882 is a cigar, right? And you
Yeah.
you roll it. It's used as a blunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like it's kind of like, yeah, it started off as like, when I first started smoking, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is cool. I see what the hype is all about, But if you're not careful, you can like end up like just leaning on that as a crutch, like after an argument
It's
or
your
after
idol.
like a hard day at work, you're just like, I just need to go home and smoke. I'm just like, well, no, I mean, maybe just unpack some of that, some other way, and that's kind of what I'm trying to learn now. Like I eventually want to just like put weed down for like a long time, probably the remainder, just because it's like
That's what's up.
I know that through the years I've just like kind of just leaned on that,
Yeah.
to suppress other things and to like escape from things. It no longer was like this fun thing to do, but it's just like, oh, I'm stressed, like I need to do this, or like I need this, or I need that. It's like, nah, like you should just want to do something, you know.
It's only gonna make you better too, like to put it down, you know, move in a different direction.
You know, there's a clarity. Like whenever I've like taken breaks from smoking that were like a week or like a month or something like that, like there's a level of clarity and just like, you know, oneness that, you know, you forget because you smoke every day, you know. But you know, that's something I plan on doing pretty soon here. Is just cutting it out for a little while, facing things that I haven't faced like head on, just for the betterment of my mental health, you know.
I think that's what it does as well, is like alcohol, you know, weed, all that stuff is like it sweeps things under the rug. You don't necessarily deal with it, you know, because you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna smoke and ease my mind to get rid of it. And then if you do that again the next day and the next day, and then it just never goes anywhere, it's just under that rug still, you know. And then it's behind all those layers, all those neurons, you know. And then you start stripping back the layers and you're like, man, I've been smoking, because I was a smoker, but man, I've been smoking for years, man, and like now I gotta dig deep to like heal all this stuff that happened when I could have just dealt with it when it happened, instead of like smoking it away or drinking it away. You know, it's interesting. But 1882 is also when the Immigration Act was passed. So it's like, it's so interesting how they use that to put that as a cigar. Like, this is freedom.
Yeah.
You know, so like they used 1882 as freedom. You know, like I'm like, huh. Yeah, and the only way I put that together is because I was listening to your track, and then I was like, wonder what happened in 1882. So I looked it up, and I was like, oh wow. You know, and then because you had talked about in the track, like the freedom, you know, from smoking at some point. I forget the lyrics of how it went, but you know, I was like, and then that clicked, and I was like, let me look this up.
But it's interesting that they, you know, that they name it 1882. If that was the year of freedom, but then you're feeling free because you're smoking and you're so-called freeing your mind, but then it's actually putting you in bondage because now you're addicted to it and you need this crutch. It's ironic. Like, it's not really freedom.
No.
But it's a lie to make you think that it's freedom.
That is a great point. And that's what the cigar company wanted to do, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's like, okay, you're free from this. Yeah, great marketing. Like if you think about it, like that's what does everything in this country, is just the great marketing.
Yeah.
You know, like you could take it, you know. Man, it's a huge hustle, like in some ways, you know. Like if you have great marketing, you could take something that's really not a great product and you know, people want it.
Yeah.
You know, like McDonald's, you know, it's trash burgers,
crap.
but you know, people, you know, the marketing's so good, it makes you think that you need it, you know.
Just eat it anyway, like, you know, like
And they put addictive ingredients in it to make people addicted to it. Just like, you know, so then they're like, they have to keep coming back for like the crack, you know?
Oh, we were talking about something else as well the other day. We're talking about like freedom and all that jazz right now. When you're talking about an underground church that's in China, she was saying like in a lot of these places, like they don't have access to a Bible. So because that creates freedom, right? You know, that activates the God inside of you. And she said a lot of these places, like some people are they have like a page of the Bible, and they all huddle around and read that page, and that's all they have. But that's their faith, you know. And I'm like, wow, that's an interesting way.
And they're praying to God that they could actually get a Bible. Because the whole church has to just share that one page and just read it over and over. But they value it so much because like, this is the word of God. And so their cry to God for years is just like, God, send us a Bible. And then fortunately, you know, there's organizations here in America where all they do is send out Bibles in all these different languages to all these, you know, Christians that are in these, you know,
but that goes back to
nations.
The socialism. They just want to control. You know, and it's like if we continue to let them buy all of our stuff, they're going to own us, and then they can control us, and then that socialism moves over here. So that's why freedom is like so important, you know, and that's why it's so important for each one of us to individually have our relationship with God, because it does give us freedom. You know, it breaks those chains of bondage and stuff. So actually, I was going to read a little something real quickly to you guys. Something hit today. This was like my message from that book that I talk about all the time. It's called Switch on Your Brain. And it says, give thanks to the Lord of heaven for his steadfast love endures forever. That's from Psalms 136:26. And then the brain tip says, love is incredibly powerful. It can heal the brain and body, allowing us to function at our best as we live our lives. So when I'm feeling love, man, and I give it out and I feel it, I move better, and I attract better. So it says, regardless of where you are in your life, you can rely on God's love. You can trust in his faithfulness. When you allow yourself to be consumed by his love, you can allow this love to transform your mind, your brain, and body for the better. You can be an example of his love in the world. You can reflect his glory into creation in your unique and wonderful way, because your healthy mind and brain will generate love-filled quantum energy in a unique way. When you choose to operate in love, people will literally feel the love coming out of you. I'm like, yo, that's so real. But the reason why I wanted to read that too, man, is because I brought you a gift, man.
Oh,
this is
where?
for you, yeah, man. It's so that was a message from that book, but yeah, man, it's a great book, man, and I think it'll help you, especially because you're such a conscious dude, and it takes science and spirituality and it brings it together. And I just think that, man, I was like, man, I got to get him something, and
cool. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man, we thank you for coming on the show, man. And I felt like that would be someone of your mindset that would be really cool for you.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, definitely, man. We appreciate you, man. But we still got time. I don't know. It hit me at that time to go ahead and throw that out there.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you, man. I just know you're gonna do great things, man. You feel something when you hear your music, and that's hard. Like, you don't get that a lot.
That's ultimately what I wanted. I want more than anything, I guess, if my music has an objective, I just want to make people feel the way Prince and Mint Condition and Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder and Kendrick made me feel growing up. Like if nothing else, you know what I mean? If I don't quote unquote make it big or whatever, I at least had that influence, or my music at least has, that power to do that for somebody. And maybe even inspire them to start, doing some writing of their own. You never know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you definitely inspire me, man. And I have a high school football coach named Mike Simmons. He coaches at another university right now. I think it's UTEP. He used to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he's like, he told me a couple years ago when I was coaching high school football at Chamberlain, we went and grabbed a couple beers after the game. At that time I was drinking, and he's like, Turner, he's like, if you're good, they'll find you. And I apply that to everything in life, because if you're good, people will find you. You know what I'm saying? And just man, this is happening because you're good. You're good. You know what I'm saying? It's your sacrifice and your obedience to step into your purpose at such a young age. And I admire that, because it took me forever to overcome my own fear of being judged, to do stuff like this. And you're conquering that at such a young age, man. It's so impressive.
Yeah, man. It's like I say, bro, anything about me that's good just comes from God. I wouldn't be continuing none of this. I would have given up if it hadn't been for him. And I've already, again, my time with Wave Theory and learning under Mike Mass and everything that he had to teach me about this game, I'm carrying that with me and trying to establish myself as an independent artist. And however long that takes, I'm gonna still do it. You only lose if you give up. You know what I'm saying? So you just, I have to keep going. You know what I'm saying? I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm already.
And that's how he's gonna do it, because that mindset, that thought right there, if you capture that, he's like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm not in a rush.
Right.
That's so cool. Because I
call
think
it pit bull faith.
Ooh,
because the pit bull, once it locks its jaw, then that's it. It doesn't let go, and so you're like, I'm not letting go. It doesn't matter how long it takes.
Yeah, you can there's a lot. There's a lot to be gained, and then on the same page, there's a lot you have to lose, and there's a lot you have to sacrifice in order to get there and get what you want. And I have a vision of what I want, and I know that I'm gonna lose people. I know I'm gonna lose time, money, sleep. Oh my gosh, sleep is gold. Like sleep is like, I don't care. Like sleep is like the most valuable thing like on this earth. Like and you don't know it until you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta go to work in like a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be there all day and all night. Like I ain't like it's gone. Like once you go into work, like your entire day is gone, especially like when you serving, but the money's there and I need the money. I gotta do what I have to do. Like once I get, a car and I'm mobile and I'm out in these streets a little bit more, I can go and support other people's events. I can go, I can do so much more for myself. I can invest in myself. I can film, better content on a more consistent level because I can get to places. You can
get to the opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, any way we can help you, man, like with that, we'll figure it out,
Dude, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah,
for sure. We appreciate you, man. So if you ever need a ride or anything like that, just hit us up, man.
Facts.
But I think that's something that Americans don't value is sleep. I've been there and I'm still struggling with that. Like Monica gives me a hard time about that.
Yeah.
She's like, man, you don't sleep.
Yeah, I just bought a new mattress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got a Tempur-Pedic?
Nah, I didn't go crazy. It was a really good deal, Black Friday deal. But
nice.
This mattress is amazing. It's a hybrid memory foam coil mattress. And I've never been a back sleeper. I've always been like a side sleeper. But now I just lay down on my back and I'm out like a light and I just stay asleep. Like,
is it firm or is it soft?
It's like both. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's super firm.
Man, it said quail. Like it's like what? They got quail in the bed, bro?
No, not quail. Coil.
Oh, I thought you said.
Oh yeah. Quail.
I heard quail. I was like, man,
quail
they got
feathers?
quail feathers in here. Like,
No, it's a coil hybrid.
Yo, that's great.
like, how many quail did they have to shoot out the sky to make this bed?
I do have down feather pillows though, 100%. So
Yeah, those feather pillows make a difference.
Oh
man.
yeah,
Those
absolutely.
feather pillows, yeah.
But you can't, like you said, you can't put a price tag on good sleep.
No.
Like
Thanks.
get yourself a good mattress.
Yeah.
Go to bed, like because it affects, like you said, your entire day, everything.
The way your brain functions,
Absolutely.
and the way you operate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very true.
What I do, because I value my sleep just about more than anything.
She goes to sleep at like 6:30.
No, by 9 or 10. Because I wake up at 4:35 in the morning, and so. But the point is that what I do is, before I go to bed, like around 9:30, my brain just starts shutting down. When I wash up in the bathroom, I have a real dim light on my countertop because when you have bright light, it stops your brain from shutting down so you could go to sleep. So I eliminate the light. I turn off my phone. What else? I don't have any sound, like no music playing, no lights. Like it has to be pitch black, quiet. And I shut myself down before I start going to bed. So then that way, once I lay down, I could just fall right to sleep because my brain is shut off. But just the light alone, like they say, before you go to bed, if you go into the bathroom and there's a bright light on, that triggers something in the brain that says, oh, it's time to stay up. Or if you're on your phone, a lot of people are guilty of being on technology or social media or texting, whatever. Just that alone keeps your brain up. So it's like you have to cut out all those things and, of course, have a comfortable mattress and pillow. And in that way, you get a really good sound sleep. You don't wake up throughout the night, and then you could function and you're energetic at 5 a.m. You're up and ready to go because you got good sleep.
You can conquer your day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a goal of mine, to get back on that schedule, to get back getting up at like 4. Because if you get your workout done, you eat breakfast, you read, you stretched, and you're done with everything by like 8. You got the whole day ahead of you, and you're not chasing, your workout. You're not chasing your reading. It's like it makes a world of difference. That's what a lot of CEOs do. They wake up at like 2 a.m. Those guys that and then you get that peacefulness too, because when you're out that early, like nobody else is on the road, and you just have everything to yourself.
Yeah.
That's a nice, the gym, everything. Yeah, that's a good feeling.
I don't know about 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That's way too early.
Yeah, that's
I
really early.
can do the 4 or 5. Like I remember I used to do that. Like when I was moving, I was living over by a Planet Fitness, and I would just like wake up at 4.
Yeah.
and run to the Planet Fitness, work out, and then run back to the crib, and that was cool for a while. But I needed more sleep. I think it just fell off somehow.
Yeah, sleep is gold, like he said. That's that's a message for the audience as well. Is like sleep is gold. Like remember that, and I think that's what's happening to a lot of men across the country. Because men go hard, for their families, and they're not getting the proper amount of rest.
Right.
And that's like that takes a toll on you in many ways.
For sure.
Yeah,
any opportunity you can get to sleep without setting an alarm to is fantastic. Just wake up on your own, not rush yourself to get out of bed.
Wow.
Just kind of lay there for a bit and slowly make your way out of bed. You'll feel way better. Just that alarm alone, kind of like it's jarring when it wakes you up, and so it can really damage the quality of your sleep.
It does. And they say if you do wake up naturally at 5 or whatever time, you're supposed to stay up, because if you go back to sleep, you're like, oh, let me just stay in this bed. Yeah. You go back to sleep for another hour or two. You going back to sleep makes you tired. Versus if you would have just struggled to get up at 5 and just wash yourself up and get yourself going, then you'll be energetic throughout the day because you didn't go back into sleep.
Yeah, I definitely do that. Like, I wake up at 5
Same.
on the dot and be like, oh, yeah, this is a good time to get up and be productive and go for a run. And then like,
it's cozy though.
Never mind, I lied. I'm going to sleep.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You can catch all of our episodes on YouTube and Spotify at Better Gents Podcast, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Better Gents Pod. Thank you and take care.